Happy and blessed Wednesday. Great afternoon, everybody. I hope you are having a great day so far. For those who are new and tuning in, welcome. And I'm just so happy you're here. For those who do not know me, my name is Catherine Barnett, and I go by Cat Barnett. And this is the Cat Barnett podcast. We are on episode 40. And I think that is just wild to me because never thought I'd be doing this. And here we are 40 episodes later and just super grateful to be here every Wednesday with you guys and just hope that I'm spreading value and that y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. And for those who are also new, I just want you to know that I also, help women who struggle with confidence in their faith and fitness, develop strategies and systems that lead to gain clarity, direction, and purpose so that they can be fulfilled as they walk in their calling faithfully. So I'm just super excited because on episode 40, I have a very special guest here with me today and she is actually my own personal nutritionist. So I'm super excited for you guys to hear just the value and her expertise and knowledge that she's going to drop around nutrition and just her journey and just how we can improve our overall well-being. So I have known this woman for probably about a year or so now, but our relationship has grown over the last 2 months or a little over that. And, this is a woman that wears many hats, and I don't know how she does it all, but she does it gracefully, flawlessly. She is a certified nutrition and a health coach that specializes in helping women transform their gut health and mindset. She's a mother, a friend, but most importantly, just an overall great human being that I'm grateful to know and build our relationship with. So, if y'all can please help me welcome and give a friendly introduction to Jennifer Doctor.
Hello, hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you
I
see
can,
me?
I can. All good. All systems firing well.
Awesome. And I know we got to talk a little bit before you got on, and I just like I said, I like to give people their flowers while they're here. So I like I said, I just don't take this lightly that you're on my podcast and you are always running and doing things for others. So I appreciate that you could help me out with this, and I'm just super grateful.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Nervous, but extremely grateful to be asked and just to be in this space with you. I always enjoy our time together. So, yeah, now we're just gonna videotape it. So,
For real. Like I said, it's just a conversation
I know,
between
I
us.
know.
So I love that. And I did introduce you a little bit, but before we get too far into this episode, I always want to tell the people listening in live or on the replay about that person that I'm interviewing. So if you can let us know, who is Jennifer Doctor? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a woman that struggles with mindset still sometimes, struggles with confidence, and is really just trying to do the next best thing always. But on top of that, I'm also a mom, a wife. I'm 43 years old, so entering, it's harder as we get older, and but 43, 3 kids, and one out of the house, two smaller ones, teenager, all steps of life, right? So I have one that's out of the house, I have one in high school, I have one in preschool. So all stages of life I'm dealing with, except and adulthood, because I'm still navigating that and trying to figure that out because I've never been a 43-year-old woman with these ages of kids. And I think sometimes we forget that, like each step of our life, like we're new to it too, right? Like I've never been the mom of a 22-year-old girl, and now I am. And so each step is something different. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. And love fitness and love nutrition and all the things. And that's, I would say newer for me, something that I've always loved, but something that I've really like dove into in the last couple of years, intentionally. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, intentionally showing up for myself. And I feel better at 43 than I did at 23. So yeah, let's go.
You're looking good too, because I'm like 43 where like it's crazy
And
that,
my bones and my joints and all the things.
but it's like as we age, when we take care of our body, like it's amazing how, I mean, we can look younger than what we actually are. And I like how you said, adulthood, you're still navigating. I think we're always, no matter what age, always going to still be navigating through this thing we call life. But that's the beauty of it, just figuring it out as we go. So I love that, like you said that, and just, yeah, I'm also happy that you're here. So yeah, we'll just get into it and, like I said, have a conversation. So I kind of want to go back because you said you're new, or newer, not as new, but you started your nutrition journey really intentionally probably about a few years ago. So I kind of want to go a little deeper into that, as in when and how did your nutrition journey start?
So honestly, and not everybody might agree with this, but I believe that our nutrition journey starts the moment we start building relationships with food. So as a child, you may not be intentionally on this nutrition journey, but unconsciously you're still on a journey. You're still developing relationships, how you look at food, how you process, how food means to you, and what you use it for. And so our journey really is starting at a very, very early age. And I think that the next step of our nutrition journey is when we intentionally focus on it, right? So, growing up, so you could say that my nutrition journey has been ups and downs for a lot of years, right? And so, growing up, I had a really terrible relationship with food. I grew up in an era of less is more. So less carbs, less fats. Nobody was focusing on more protein. It was always about the takeaway and not the give back. And so I started developing a mindset around that. And then a few years ago, I honestly probably about 7 years ago, I started really just wanting to be in like the gym space. And maybe it was for community, maybe it was for, thinking that I just needed to be smaller. And that was still my mindset. So even when I jumped into an intentional, what I thought, nutrition journey, it wasn't necessarily for the right reasons. And I think that that is part of the journey, right? Like sometimes we start it for maybe the wrong reason. And along the way, we build confidence. We learn maybe from others or just in the growth in ourselves, like how to really be intentional with that journey, and doing it for the correct reasons. And so I say that, yes, it started, the gym life and like the working out and like trying to do that really started heavily, like 7 years ago. But probably not until 3 years ago was I super intentional and wanted to be healthy with it, and knowing what that meant, because you don't know what you don't know. And so that's okay. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not know what you're doing, just taking action. So yeah, so the journey's been tough. It's still not always perfect, right? It's never going to be. And we're not after perfection. We're after consistency, and we're after getting right back to it, right? Like life happens, stuff comes up, mental health wise, life wise, that can make us step back. And it doesn't mean that our journey's over. It doesn't mean that we're off our journey, that we've ruined it, because every day is a new day. And whether we're choosing to be better or not, it's still a choice. So just try to choose differently each day instead of just sabotaging the rest of them is my biggest thing. And so, yeah, the journey itself has been ups and downs for most of my life. And I'm really grateful in the spot that I am now. And again, like I said, it's not perfect. It never will be, but I'm not after perfection. I'm not after that from myself. I'm not after that for my clients. So yeah, I think that, like I said, it started a long time ago with a terrible relationship with food and not knowing what food meant and what it was supposed to be used for.
Wow, like I love that you said the relationship on nutrition starts when we develop that relationship with food. So it even starts younger than we think
Absolutely.
because wow. And like I don't want to go off topic, but I want to ask you so many different things. Like, so I'll dive into that later. But I think too, like if you don't even have, like you said, that healthy relationship with food, or you just emotional eat, like that develops not a good relationship. So you technically are still developing habits and nutrition, but not the healthy habits. So, wow, I'm glad you said that. And I never thought of it that way until you said that. So that's crazy that
Yeah.
my relationship actually started years ago, but I'm just now being more intentional and committed to having a healthier journey with my relationship with food. So,
Yeah, I mean, look, there's bad nutrition, there's good nutrition. So whether we're fueling ourselves with things that aren't serving our bodies, or we are fueling ourselves with things that serve our bodies, we're still making a choice. We're still on a journey of nutrition. We're still eating. We all eat food, right? Like we can agree that like whether we're eating the good quote unquote good thing, or the not so healthy thing, we're all still consuming something. And that's part of your journey. And so it's just deciding when you're going to wake up and realize the choices that you're making and the journey that you're on. So you get to choose. There's a lot of power in an intentional nutrition journey.
right, and the choice to choose, a lot of power in that too, because everything we do is choices, a choice we make to do. So, and it goes to too, like I love that you said consistency over perfection. Like I love when you tell me that because it's true. Sometimes I'm my biggest critic. I'm could be very hard on myself, but one thing that I've become more intentionally with just throughout life is like giving myself more grace, and that you know little steps are better than no steps. So
Absolutely.
it's all about the journey, and I'm falling in love with it, loving it. So, and appreciate you for coming alongside me with this journey. So it's just been amazing. And like on this podcast, I love to talk about adversities, hardships, challenges that people go through and overcome on their journey throughout life, because I truly believe, adversities and hardships help us grow into the person that we are called or meant to be. And so I encourage people to always embrace those hardships, those challenges, the adversities that we go through in life. So if you don't mind, if you can talk about any challenges or any adversity that you have faced and just had to overcome, specifically on your nutritional and your nutrition journey.
Yeah, I mean, I can name a lot, but I think one of the biggest struggles for me is support in the way of friends, family, people around you that maybe don't understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, why it doesn't make sense to them, right? They're on a different nutrition journey, and that's okay. And I think that a lot of the times, I say this to my kids a lot, so they'll hear this and laugh, but make a lot of excuses. And excuses doesn't mean it's untrue, right? An excuse you can use, it doesn't make it untrue, but it still is what it is. We're still calling it what it is. It's still an excuse. It's still a reason why we're not doing the thing we're doing. But it doesn't make the adversity that we're facing untrue. So I think that like it's easy to say, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, or I can't eat healthy because I'm young, I live at home, and my mom does all the cooking. I can't decide. I hear that from clients maybe that are adult clients, but maybe still live at home. They're in that transitional period, but they really want to focus on their health. And the excuse is, well, I'm not doing the cooking, so I'm not choosing what I'm eating. But you are choosing. You're choosing to eat that instead of making a different choice. Or I'm really busy and I'm eating out a lot, and I don't really have a choice. And so those are hard things to overcome. And the support thing was a huge thing for me, because that was like, well, I'm in a household where everybody's eating something different. They don't support this. So I'm just not going to worry about it. Or I feel bad when they're like, oh, let's eat out. And I'm like, no, I'm actually going to eat this. And so then I just jump into the I'll eat out too, because it's easier, because they're not supporting they're not doing it for me. They're not supporting it. So I'm just going to let it go. And that is a wild conception. Like, to think about, like, you're just going to let your goals go and let to be unhealthy, to be unfit, to be whatever, fill in the blank, whatever that journey is for you, because this person wants this for themselves. But why are you letting them choose that for you? And that's easier said than done. It's hard to be around people that don't see what you see. They don't have the vision that you have. But at some point, you have to be okay with that. And you have to be okay with kind of going against the grain. And more often than not, those people start to come around. And that's what I found in my life. And, a lot of the times I was always the person that the parents would bring over like the thing of donuts. And I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to eat one. I'm good. I'm going to eat this. And I'd get a lot of, oh, Jen's not going to eat a donut. You know what I mean? And it was like, that's tough. You know what I mean? Because then you're like, well, okay, I'll have the donut. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're guilted into making the
Peer
decision
pressure.
that's going to not serve you, and it's going to make me feel like crap probably in an hour. My stomach's going to hurt. I know that. It doesn't mean I can't have the donut every once in a while, but I know it's not going to make me feel great. But then I still do it because I want to fit in, or I want to be a part of this said community. And I think that that's where it comes. You have to really find, it doesn't mean you're giving up those people, but it's also that you have to find the other support system of people that really are in your corner on that journey, right? Not maybe these other people are in your corner for other things, but they just don't understand this particular thing. So it's okay to find that community somewhere else. And I was really lucky to be able to find that community within the gym and around the people. And honestly, like, the things that were in my head that I was always afraid to say through like the beginning of my journey around like my family and my friends, I felt so open to do so within this other community. And it really just fostered so much growth, and so much of, and led me into the next stage of my nutrition journey. And so you're going to face hardships. You're going to face people that aren't supportive. You're going to face situations that aren't the most ideal. And the hardest part is that you're not going to be perfect. Again, the hardest part is being aware of those situations and not just like falling into what everybody else is doing and kind of going against the grain. And that is tough.
Yeah.
That's hard. And so that's been the biggest challenge for me, with just wanting to fit into all aspects. And you're not going to please everybody, and so you really just have to focus on like what's best for you, and really be selfish.
And it's not bad to be selfish, like when it's making you a better person. And I tend to tell people that, because some people, I think, especially if you're a people pleaser listening into this, it's hard because you want to not let anybody down by making a decision that's not going to benefit them. But I'm like, nah, if you don't go be great, do what's best for you. And I can relate to a lot that you said, especially not even just necessarily this new journey I took, but just even wanting to start this podcast, or just making a different decision that I knew it was going to benefit me in my personal journey, my growth. So I'll always encourage, and yeah, always shout out that community. Man, is so big, especially I am an outgoing introvert, so I used to not want to be around a lot of people, but I've learned to embrace, like, man, there's nothing like community. And being around people that are supportive, like-minded, have those in tune goals with you. So I completely agree to like everything you were saying. And it's just sometimes hard too, because I think friends and family, they mean well at sometimes when they don't understand or on that same journey, but it still doesn't make it um it doesn't make it still feel good when
They're
they're
used
coming
to
out of
others.
love,
Mhm.
but projecting kind of their own
Yes.
insecurities on you. So
And that's
I
normally what it is, right? Like
yeah.
they're used to a certain version of you. So whatever that version of you that they've had for X amount of years or whatever, they're really used to that. So when you shift that, right? When you start making different choices, better choices, whatever, um, they're not used to that new version of you. And it's going to take adjustment, and that's okay. And the hard truth of that is you may lose people along the way. And
Mm,
again, it doesn't matter what journey that is for you. If it's a nutrition journey, if it's a podcast journey, if it's a career journey, whatever that is, the sacrifice to success and growth is, process of elimination, process of elimination of people, of bad habits. And you have to lose to gain. You have to make room for the new, and sometimes that means other things have to fall off, and that's okay. But that's hard, and a lot of people don't. It's uncomfortable. People don't want to be uncomfortable. People don't like to be uncomfortable, but hard is hard no matter how you look at it, right? It's hard to be broke and unhealthy and all the things, but it's also really hard to get success and healthy and fit and all those things too. So either way, you're on a hard journey. And so 5 years from now, you can either be working towards something or you can be in the same place. And so pick your hard, choose the journey, because they're all hard. It just depends on how hard you want it to be and what is that hard going to lead to.
man, choose your heart, right? Choose your heart.
Hard to be successful, and it's hard to not be successful.
Facts, preach, everything. I feel it. And it goes into, because you kind of hit note on a lot of this too. So I might just, and it's okay if you repeat like some of the stuff you get, because I just want to make sure people are getting what we putting down. And Tyler said he's glad we both decided to bet on ourselves. And it's a commitment and a decision we chose to make. And so I when I talk to a lot of people, they have different goals when it comes to their health and well-being, but the one thing that I hear come up often is people want to lose weight, right? But working out is, I believe, only half the battle, if not even less, because it really starts in the kitchen. It starts with what we are putting into our bodies. So why do you think it's hard for people to have better eating habits when it comes to eating more clean and healthier? Or why is it hard for people to even start being more mindful of what they are eating and putting into their bodies?
I mean, it goes back to just being comfortable. We're comfortable with our routines. We're comfortable with the things that we grab. Easy things are most, not all cases, but usually the things that's easiest to grab or quick to grab isn't probably the most healthy or like the best for ourselves. Yes, there are quick and easy options for healthy things, but if we don't know those things and that's not something that we're used to grabbing, we're going to gravitate more towards what we're comfortable with. We're going to gravitate to where our nutrition journey started. So then that goes back to what I said before, right? Like your journey started well before you were conscious of it starting. And so we're naturally going to want to make those easy choices and grab. And we're going to make the excuses, well, I'm very busy. I have 3 kids. I have a job. I'm running all around. And we are all the busiest people we know. Every one of it, whether you have kids or no kids or whatever, we're filling that time with something, right? And so we're all going to be busy. We all have our life. And so we all have our version of kids and work and all the things. And so, yeah, I think people just really want to be comfortable, and it's harder to step outside of that and think about food differently. And I'll go a step further with saying, like, it starts in the kitchen, or most of your your nutrition journey, like the results you see in losing weight and body composition and all that are in the kitchen, yes, but before that, it starts in your mind. Like
Mm,
anybody can start going to the grocery store and buying all the healthy groceries and filling their. I'm first of all, I've done that, right? I'm starting tomorrow. This is it. I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to buy all of the healthy things. I'm not going to buy anything that I enjoy. And then what happens? You get to your fridge. All of these things are in there. There's nothing familiar really to you, right? The veggies are now going bad. All you want are snacks, and then you end up binging on something else. Nutrition is a balance. It doesn't mean that we're completely cutting out the things that we love. It doesn't mean, I think that people have this all or nothing mindset when it comes to nutrition. Like, okay, if I want this six pack and I want to lose these weight, I have to do this and do this. And yes, that is true. You have to be disciplined and you have to look at those things, but it doesn't mean that there's not room for, a snack or something that you enjoy or something that you love, or finding alternatives to the meals that you love in a healthier way. Like it just sometimes takes a little bit of research and, talking to the right people and knowing that it doesn't have to be this all or nothing thing, because that's not sustainable. The biggest thing about nutrition and about sticking to nutrition is sustainability. And the people that are the all or nothing, that I have to do this, this, and this, and don't have any, it's not sustainable. Or the quick fixes or the fad diets, or it's all just things that aren't really teaching us and changing our mindset around food and how to eat that and how to make that and how to have it be enjoyable and still enjoy the sweet things that we love or the salty things that we love and still hitting our goals. And so people give up. People say, well, this is too hard. I can't do this. I want these snacks. And they're being told, as I was being told growing up, no fat, no carbs. You know what I mean? Like you have this mindset around what it's supposed to look like. And everybody's nutrition journey is different. Nobody's eating the same thing. It doesn't have to be just chicken and rice and it doesn't have to be that. It can be. If that's what you want to eat every day and that works for you, then that is what your journey looks like. That's not what my journey looks like. That's not what your journey looks like.
right.
You know what I mean? And so that's okay. And so I think that people tend to fall off because they think that it's black and white. They have to stick to this certain thing. They have to do this thing the same as everybody else. And it's just not true. And that's where it comes into talking to an individual coach instead of just, and I'm guilty of it, just, scrolling through Instagram and seeing all these fitness influencers and nutrition influencers and things like that, talking about do this and this and this, but that may work for them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And so just really finding what that is and what that looks like and how it fits into your life is the biggest success that you're going to have, is making it work to your life instead of fitting somebody else's journey and life into yours.
Yeah, because like you said, your journey is going to be different from someone else's. Like it's still a journey, So, and if that simple works with some people too, but it doesn't have to be like that. And that even goes into, what I wanted to even ask you, because there are a lot of, the misconceptions too, around food and how, people can get how around nutrition. So like for instance, when I started, and you touched base a little bit on this, I didn't think that I could still enjoy some of the foods that I love, like, pasta. I love pasta and I love my ice cream, my sweets. So I'm like, dang, I gotta give all this up. Like I'm willing to, but I was like, this is gonna be hard. So I'm glad like you reassured me I can still have these things, but just in a different creative way. So um I guess how do you think people can get past like listening to those misconceptions? Or I mean, why are there even misconceptions around food?
Look, I mean, there's going to be information, and it's not bad to pull information and get, things from these outside sources. It's good. That's real. I mean, I still follow a lot of people and I get a lot of recipes. Like there's a lot of great information out there, but there's a lot of also not great information. And I think that the key is taking bits and pieces from different things, right? If you're not working with somebody individually and you're kind of just like doing this on your own, you know, doing stuff that works for you is only going to help you in the long run. And so mindset is where it says everything that we're consuming is really part of our journey. So positive things, being around a supportive community, um, making healthier choices for yourself. What's going to fuel you? I tell people a lot of times, like, keep a food journal. Like, if we always have a stomach ache, and this is my big thing about gut health, like, we don't always have to just assume that, I see memes and stuff all the time that says, about girls always having stomach aches. And it is a thing. Like, we always have this upset gut, but a lot of the times you're hearing that those inconsistencies in our gut and the way that we're feeling lethargic and tired and puffy and bloated all the time, and so that it's just normal. It's our hormones, or it's this, you know what I mean? And that's not necessarily true, you know what I mean? And so I thought that was my normal for a really long time. And food journaling is a big thing for that. Like, how does this thing make me feel? And that can be applied to so many things. And as far as journaling goes, how does this make me feel? And keeping track of that, and helping that serve you better, like to make better choices. And that's a huge step. And just being conscious of those things instead of just blindly kind of eating and doing whatever, like, and then just assuming your stomach ache is because you have a stomach ache. Like, no, it was probably geared towards something that you ate. And so just being super mindful of what you're putting in your body. That is the biggest part of a nutrition journey, is just, yes, enjoying your food, but just being conscious and taking that time of just knowing what you're eating and being conscious of what you're eating, thinking ahead about what you're going to eat, instead of just winging it through the day, eating your kids' leftovers off the plate or whatever's in the snack drawer, and I'm guilty of those things. And so I can speak to that. And so just being 1% better each day, and really just having your mindset around food, it starts with being conscious of what you're eating and how what you're eating is making you feel. That is honestly that was the first part of my nutrition journey, was just realizing how foods were affecting me. And through that, I found out that I had autoimmune disease. I don't think I ever would have been diagnosed or even asked to inquire about being diagnosed until I started really being mindful of the food that I was eating and how it was affecting me. And realizing that it wasn't always the food that was affecting me, that there was another underlying issue. And I wouldn't have known that had I not been super conscious and then been an advocate for myself to go to the doctor and say, no, I want this because this is how I feel. It's power. Take control of what you're doing. Take control of the food that you're eating, what you're putting in your body, what you're putting in your mind, what you're absorbing, the people that you're around, and be an advocate for yourself. You have to be with you for the rest of your life. Like, these people around you, family, friends, everything, yes, they're great, and I hope they stay with you forever, but that's the only guarantee. You will be with you forever. And so, I mean, what do you want that to look like? What partner do you want to be for yourself? You know what I mean? How do you want that to look for you in the future? And so you really have to just focus on the next best thing and take control of the things and how you feel around those things. Yeah, I feel like I probably got off topic there, but I just.
No, it was perfect. And I don't even have anything to say to that, because everything you said is spot on. People are saying that's so true, and getting value. And yeah, one comment was that takes a lot of self control, especially when you are used to just eating what you want in an unconscious manner. So yeah, it does come down to, I think, first, yeah, making the decision that you want to do this journey and then committing to it. And then it comes with that discipline and that consistency, which
Absolutely.
it's easy to say, but it's harder to do.
Absolutely. And even a step like, okay, I have these favorite snacks in my drawer. And so instead of like that mindless, I'm going to grab this bag of chips and just eat it, instead of saying, I can't have these chips in my house, I can't have this, why don't you get that bag of chips, portion it out to the serving size on there, have those individual bags in your drawer. So when you want to grab that salty snack that you think you can't have, it's portioned. So then you're not eating 4 servings for the one that maybe fit into your day and that you were allowed to have within your food budget if we're tracking and we're doing things like that. It's not to say, again, it's about looking at things in a different way. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about really fueling yourself and like, how do you want to feel? So I think that like, it makes me so mad when people are like, I mean, I can't do that. I'm just like, I'm going to take away all the things that I love. I'm not going to be able to eat any of this. I mean, how do you feel? Well, I don't feel great. I'm tired all the time. And then why wouldn't you want to try to see if just a simple thing, and it is in layman's terms simple, it doesn't mean the action of it and sticking with it is simple, but the simple thing of just making a better choice of what you're grabbing, so then you feel better, you have more energy, you have this, like, it's wild. And so it's like the after the Tyler has talked to this, speaking of Tyler, like, you people after a hard day of work, they're like, I can't wait to have that drink. I just can't wait to relax and have that cocktail or sit down and have that beer to decompress. And maybe you don't feel great after. Like, you're putting poison into your body to reward yourself for a hard day's work. It doesn't make sense.
Man,
I mean,
I think you hit some nerves today now.
probably, but that's okay. And it, again, doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a cocktail on a celebration time and you're with friends and you're doing those things if that's your journey, you know what I mean? But why are we associating with, I did all of this, I had such a hard day and I kicked ass and I showed up and I did all these things. I'm going to go home and I'm just beat and I'm tired and I'm done with this day. And this is how I'm going to reward myself, is with something that's going to make me inflamed, probably not feel the greatest the next day. Like, what, the mind, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So it's, yeah.
No, I mean yeah, I think it, like you said, the biggest thing you said that is so true, which the mindset is so powerful. And if your mind around food is already not good, it's gonna carry over to everything then. And so one of the other misconceptions, which I think I've heard, like if somebody can't afford a nutritionist, which, okay, I get it, but you can still do your research, you can still gain that knowledge. And because I mean, for one minute I was saying that, I'm like, maybe I don't need one right now, but I was like, you know really need to learn how to properly fuel my body, because before I started working with you, I didn't know anything about macros. I didn't know anything. I was not eating enough protein. Like, I was just not, like, I was eating enough, but not necessarily the right food. So it's just crazy though when you gain the knowledge. And we went back to saying, when you know better, you do better. It's just like, once you know, it's like you're like, man, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have learned this stuff sooner. Because yeah, I think a lot of people fall into that convenience, like, where if you actually plan it out, you know, you can still grab some when you're in a rush, but healthy. It can still be a bag of chips, but let it be chips that got protein in it,
Yeah.
instead of none that, the ones that aren't healthy for you. So someone asked macros, what is that? Do you want to go into detail with that?
So macros, I think that, I mean, listen, before I knew how to count macros, it was all very crazy to me too. And like, I can't do that. I think with anything, once you learn and once you've lived it, it becomes, it's just one of those other things that you now know, right? And so macros are really just the breakdown of your calories. And so, there's protein, there's carbs, there's fat. And so there's different kind of macros that we break down for your nutrition. So that's what we're tracking, right? We're focusing on the protein, the fats, and the carbs. And so we break those down into different numbers that then will create your macros, and everybody's is different. So it's not like this across the board thing. And that's what working with a coach and things like that can show you, right? It can show you what for your body, for your weight, for your comp, for your goals. Again, everybody is different. How many calories we should be consuming to meet our goals, and how those are broken down into different macros. So how many grams of protein we have, how many grams of carbs we have, how many grams of fat we have. And so, yeah, and then those are broke down into, different things. Like mine specifically, like I reach for 170 grams of protein. My overall calories right now are around like 1,700. So I'm not consistently tracking right now, but I've done it long enough to where I can intuitively eat around those macros and be pretty spot on with those through the day. So yeah, I go like 100, like I said, 170 grams of protein is not hard. You have to be super intentional with those things. There's no way I could hit that without being intentional about hitting that. So it is a thought process. But once you know, and once you get that, there is so much power in knowing like what your body needs and how it to feel its best by just like hitting these numbers. And honestly, it's really great once you do.
No,
Yeah.
I could attest to that. It's very empowering. Like you didn't think, or like not necessarily think, but you're kind of like, man, that's a huge goal. Like what you would be pushing me, and we're still on that
Yeah.
140. I think I started only getting maybe like 50 to 70 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm.
So
And we start off small, right? Like you're not coming into me saying, look, I'm tracking, right? I'm seeing what you're doing. We're not saying that it's, you're at 50 grams of protein. Like, okay, tomorrow, this week, I want you to bring this in and I want it to say that you had 140 grams of protein. Like we set small goals, and that's the point too. Don't be so hard on yourself to think that like, oh, I need to make this change overnight. It is a process. It is a week at a time, a day at a time, saying, okay, today I'm going to increase my steps by this much. Today I'm going to increase my water by this much. Today I'm going to eat a little bit more protein. You know what I mean? And you kind of chip away and you work up to those numbers. And so I think that people don't think that eating more will make them weigh less in some terms. It will change your body composition. It's not necessarily about the number on the scale. It's just about how that weight is distributed and what it is, and where it's going, how much is fat, how much is muscle, all the things, because they weigh the same. And I think that was another thing too. Growing up, I always, I don't know how many times I've said this in my life, you guys, too many, okay, about, oh, it's fine. Muscle weighs more than fat. False. It does not. Okay. They weigh the same. A pound is a pound. They weigh the same. One takes up less space. And so, again, misconceptions, that was part of my journey. You know what I mean? And so, and here we are now, knowing so much more. And yeah.
man, I love it. I love it. And I hate that we're almost coming in for a landing, Jen, but
That's easy.
it's been I know it's going by so fast, but really I mean add whatever you need to, but I really want to ask you about like someone, say someone is new to this, journey and afraid to even start their nutritional journey, or just lacking the confidence to even start to become the best, that they can be physically and improve their overall well-being. What's, three tips or advice that you would say to them?
I'd say that at first, you're never too old. It's never too late to start. So this mindset around like, well, it's too late. It's fine. I'm good. I've lived my life this way this far. Okay, well, you have a lot of life to live. Do you want to continue to live it that way? Like it's never too late to just start. And it doesn't matter if you fall off. It's not, you can start again the next day. Like every day is a new day. It's a new opportunity. Like it's a gift that you get to that next day. So what are you going to do with it? Yesterday doesn't matter. Like you have to you have to throw that away. It's done. You're not going to get it back. So let's just move on to the next day. And it's not all or nothing. So another tip, it's not all or nothing. It can be one step. Like we just talked about, like even as coaches, we're not saying, here's these numbers, hit this, do this. We are chipping away and we're taking small steps. And you can do that easily on your own without a coach, without anything. That is just another excuse, right? It doesn't make it untrue. Doesn't mean you can't afford that nutrition coach, or you can't afford this, or you can't do this, but you can find other ways to do it. You can, grab a healthier snack or focus on eating more protein, even if that's what you did, right? Focus on being more intentional with fueling your body with protein to build your muscles, to support your bones, support your just overall health. Then that's one step closer than you were the day before. You don't have to count your macros. You don't have to track your food. But not depriving yourself is a big thing. Like I I struggle with people thinking, like, when I push you to eat more food, right? Like, you're like, oh my God, that's so scary. It's so scary to eat more, to think that I'm going to weigh less, or I'm going to change my body composition, or I'm going to do whatever by eating more. But your body needs that. We need to feel, we are burning calories, whether we are up doing stuff or not doing stuff. Our body is still burning calories, and we need to fuel it so it doesn't hold on to these things. So even if that's one step for you, focus on some protein. Carbs are energy. Don't be afraid of carbs. If you're a woman, eat fats. We need them. You want good hormone production. I want you to be over 40 grams of fat at least. You know what I mean? So, and there's healthy fats, there's ways to do that. And so just one small step is huge. And whether that's going for a walk, it's getting nicer outside, get them steps in, hit 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 steps a day at the end of the week, I think it's an extra 2,500 calories that you could be burning in that week just for getting those steps in each day. That's a little thing that you can do. And it's only going to help improve your mental health as well. So take those steps. I don't know how many tips I've given. I'm just putting all this out there. So
keep going. It's all good.
And so just don't be afraid to start, and don't listen to all the outside noise. Right? Some of it's going to be good. Some of it is going to be not great. Take it with a grain of salt, and just be confident in knowing where you want to go. It doesn't mean that you're going to be there tomorrow, but just keeping that vision in mind and being conscious. If I can give the biggest tip, is just being aware of what you're doing and what you're putting into what you're absorbing. If you can be aware of something happening, you have the ability to be able to change it. There's so many people out there just raw dogging life and not thinking about the things that they're doing. They're just doing them because they've always done them and they're comfortable. Think about it. If you know what I mean, you want to take away that guilt from food. And by the only way that we can do that is being conscious of what we're doing and changing the behavior. That's the only way that we get rid of that guilt. Is, okay, I ate this and I feel really terrible that I ate this, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. We don't want, that's not a normal thing, you guys. Like, that's not something we're not earning food, and we're not being guilty because we ate food. It's like, okay, I don't feel great after eating that. Tomorrow, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to feel guilty about it right now. I already ate it. It's done. Why am I going to beat myself up about it? I've already done it. But now I'm conscious, and I know that I did it. And I know that didn't make me feel great. And now tomorrow I'm going to make a better decision. That is, yes, my biggest tip. Just take the guilt out of it, be conscious, and change. Make the decision to do better. Like, that's the biggest part. It's a choice.
Consistency over perfection.
Every time.
Period. And drink your water.
Oh my God, yeah, drink water. Your body needs it. Yeah, you're dried out in there. Drink. I guarantee you're not drinking enough water. Drink it.
Facts. Yes, but man, great tips and advice. I appreciate you so much, JD, for taking the time out of your busy day to spread value and just your knowledge. This was so knowledgeable. So if you're not on live, make sure you're catching the replay because we put a lot down.
Well, before we wrap up, though, I want to know how you've been feeling.
Wow, I've been feeling
through your journey, right? You're new to your nutrition. Yeah. So what value have you gained for you, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that because I actually every episode now I make it known that hey, I got a nutritional coach now, and I honestly I feel great. Before I was doing nutrition, I felt like I was feeling good, but there was yeah, the gut health, it was just, it's crazy how it's important, I mean, I would just sometimes feel just lethargic and not necessarily, I had energy, but at times on certain foods that I'd eat, I'd be like, why do I feel this way? And not like thinking anything of it. I'm just like, oh, I mean, it's just my body. Like it's, you know what I mean? So I think when I started, I changed my relationship with food more. It wasn't that I didn't not like food or feel that, I never struggle with eating, like, because if I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. But my thing was more of so picking the right foods, not just, even though I'm a pescatarian, doesn't mean still everything I eat is healthy for me. So it was still changing, like eating more of like the right foods for me. And then the biggest thing was like my protein. Like I never was like looking at things and being like, oh, this doesn't have protein or this has this many protein. Like I wasn't ever conscious more of like protein. Like I was always looking at like carbs and stuff, but now I'm more mindful of like how much fat things have in it. And I mean, just like too, and still enjoying the things I love, but hitting my protein goals or still getting closer to my protein goals. So that was big for me. And just um I don't know. I just always have liked the relationships that I'm building by going to the gym. So it just was like, I mean, you already were giving me free game. Like so I was like, man, she's already teaching me about macros and not even my coach. She might as well become my coach.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I look, and that's what I love, right? I love having conversations with people. You know what I mean? Like, ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. Okay to inquire. Like, be an advocate for yourself, and that's how your intentional journey started. Right? It was just asking questions and being around the gym and just
right.
being curious. And look where we're at now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it only goes up from here. So one day at a time.
Right.
And like it really did at first, for anybody who doesn't know what an in body is, it like I don't even know what it is. I guess it just like kind of scans your whole body, right? Like
Yep. Yep.
and
It just takes your
your
body composition, kind of tells you where all
body composition. So like I really like my first thought was like, okay, to be hard on myself. But then I change it and I'm like, hold on, I've actually built muscle. Like I've put on muscle and lost fat. So
they're
I'm
just
proud of
numbers. They're
that,
just numbers, right? It's just data. So
right.
scales and in-body machines and all the things. It's just numbers. It's just data showing us where we need to adjust, what we need to do. That's it. And the goal is, right, to build muscle, lose body fat. It's not about the number on the scale. It's about feeling first, feeling our best, and making sure we're fueled for what life has to give us. So, yeah.
Right. So, like I said, I just appreciate that, you took me on and we just continue to build our relationship and it's great. So, before I let you go though, please let everyone know tuning in, like where can they find you on all the socials? Like where can they find you on social media?
So Instagram, the Jennifer Doctor, at the Jennifer Doctor. Always find me at Triumph Studios. So probably here more than Instagram, honestly.
Right.
Um,
West, come to Triumph Studios
that's
and
right. Hey, come take a class, come check us out. We have a lot of things to offer, but just a lot of great community too, right? So we can throw as much fitness knowledge and nutrition knowledge at you. But bottom line, people come here for all different reasons. People inquire about a healthier journey for all different reasons, but it really does start with community, and just being around people that support you, that see you, and just recognize all the work that you're putting in. So, yeah.
hey, I love it. Well, people are like they gotta watch the replay because they watched it live, but still want to go back and listen to all the value and knowledge you dropped in. Me as well. I'll be listening back as soon as we hop off. So, JD, I appreciate you and for blessing us with your presence. And everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday and an even better week. And as always, peace, love, and blessings. And I'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you. It was awesome.
Awesome.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Peace, girl.
Yeah. Bye.